afternoon. My name is Don Thompson. I'm a Viewpoint parent, and as you just heard, I'm a police officer. As an officer, I can tell you that police officers can become very cynical over time. That's not to say that cynicism is necessarily a bad thing. Becoming more cynical means that you stop accepting things on face value and start approaching things with more caution. Trust me, police officers do that very well. Because of things I've seen in 28 years on the job, my belief in the deeds of the goodness of people, humanity, and the world began to erode over time. I was becoming cynical about heroism. Then a life-altering event occurred. On Christmas Day, 2013, while driving to work, I rescued an unconscious man from a burning car and saved his life. It was a very frightening ordeal. For a brief moment during the act, I thought I might die. I was treated at a hospital for abrasions, smoke inhalation, and first and second degree burns to my arms, face, and hands. The victim survived the burns, and they also had a back injury. Afterwards, people began telling me that I was a hero. I didn't feel like a hero, but that made me wonder, what is true heroism? After a few months of the freeway rescue, I was told that the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission was reviewing my event. I didn't know anything about the Hero Fund Commission, so out of curiosity, I went to the website to learn more. Andrew Carnegie had a deep empathy for the heroic deeds of men. He long believed in the idea that ordinary citizens who perform extraordinary acts of heroism should be recognized for their deeds. In 1886, 17-year-old William Hunter drowned in a rescue attempt in Carnegie's native Scotland. Carnegie donated towards the cost of a marker in Hunter's name. Carnegie's thoughts on heroism are chiseled into Hunter's cemetery headstone in Carnegie's childhood home. The marker reads, quote, "The false heroes of barbarous men are those who can only boast of the destruction of their fellows. The true heroes of civilization are those alone who save or greatly serve them." Young Hunter was one of those and deserves an enduring monument. On January 25th, 1904, Carnegie received word of the Harwick coal mine disaster, a massive explosion in Cheswick, Pennsylvania, 14 miles north of Pittsburgh, which claimed 181 lives. Only one person survived that explosion, a 16-year-old miner who was severely burned. Carnegie was deeply touched by this, and the disaster inspired him to act. Carnegie, thinking of the victims' surviving family members, wrote, quote, "I can't get the women and children of the disaster out of my mind." He immediately reacted by giving money in public donations for relief efforts. Carnegie then instructed the local relief committee to prepare, at his expense, 2 gold medals in commemoration of the acts of heroism displayed by the 2 rescuers who sacrificed their lives in an effort to save their fellow man. The deaths of those 2 rescuers prompted Carnegie to act on his thoughts about civilian heroism. Within 3 months of the disaster, Carnegie established a $5 million trust and appointed a 21-member commission to carry out his wish to recognize, quote, civilian heroes, and that, quote, heroes and those dependent upon them should be free from financial cares resulting from their heroism. The heroic acts were also to be recognized by the granting of a medal. In the creation of the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission, Andrew Carnegie wrote, quote, "I do not expect to stimulate or create heroism by this fund. knowing full well that heroic action is impulsive. But I do believe that if the hero is injured in his bold attempt to serve or save his fellows, he and those dependent upon him should not suffer financially. The Commission's definition of a hero has been largely unchanged since its inception in 1904. Someone who voluntarily leaves a point of safety to risk their life, risk the life of another. To date, over 87,000 cases have been submitted for consideration. Full-time staff members scrutinize each case. Rescue acts brought to the Commission's attention are carefully evaluated. Those that appear to have award potential are then investigated and reported to the Commission for decision. Persons selected for recognition receive a bronze medal and a financial grant and becomes eligible for scholarship aid. Those disabled in their heroic acts or the dependents of those killed are eligible for additional benefits, including ongoing aid to meet living expenses. Joseph Fraser Wall, a Carnegie biographer, wrote, quote, "Every philanthropic fund that Carnegie had ever established had been proposed to him, often forced upon him by others. The Hero Fund came out of his own head and heart, and it delighted him. Perhaps it's because the Hero Fund was Carnegie's favorite among his charities, so much so that it remains the only national Carnegie philanthropy to remain in Pittsburgh instead of being headquartered in New York or Washington. Over 111 years of its existence, the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission continues to carry out the founder's wishes and has awarded 9,821 medals. The Carnegie Hero Award is widely regarded as the highest award for civic heroism in the United States. Approximately 20% of the awards are made posthumously, which reflects a verse from the New Testament embossed on each medal. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. That's from John 15:13. I was touched by the incidents that motivated the creation of the Hero Fund Commission and the Commission's purpose. I read and I listened to various acts of awardees and was overcome with emotion. There were amazing heroic acts by award recipients like Wesley James Autry, who jumped in front of a subway train using his body to cover a seizure victim who had fallen on the tracks. Thomas Morris, who died descending without protection into the hold of a ship that was filled with fumigation gas to save an unconscious co-worker. And Shelby Becknell, who was blinded and crippled for life when he tried to aid a co-worker, unable to stand in a pool of leaking sulfuric acid. The acts of those people define true heroism. They risked it all to save their fellow man in need. My perspective of man's good deeds through heroism has obviously changed. I strongly encourage you to go to the Hero Fund website at www.carnegiehero.org. Finally, for my life-saving act that day in 2013, I was awarded the Carnegie Hero Medal. I'm deeply humbled by this award and being a part of Carnegie Hero history. Whenever I look at this medal, I'll always think of Andrew Carnegie, his Hero Fund, the people who have been awarded this prestigious honor, and that the goodness of man through heroism is alive and well. Thank you.